If any of you were like me, you notice some mixed reactions to the new God of War game. Some people are saying it's great they're doing something new, while others are saying this isn't God of War. Well, today I'm going to talk about this new direction it's going in and if I think it's good or bad. This is one of my personal favorite franchises when it comes to gaming, and I'm pretty sure plenty of other gamers out there to say the same. So I wasn't too surprised by the mixed feelings. Personally, I understand how both sides feel about the changes. Back in the 2000s, Kratos, quick time events, and brutal gameplay were trademarks of God of War, but the newest entry looks to change a few of these things, and the question I've been asking myself though is the new entry gonna stay true to the roots of the franchise at all, or if it's gonna be a complete 180 from what it used to be? I'm not the biggest fan of huge changes when it comes to franchises I love. Mass Effect, Andromeda, and Fallout 4 kind of ruined that for me, but I'll get to my personal feelings about the game later. Right now I'm just gonna present the facts of what I think the game is gonna be like, and then from there we can move on to my actual personal feelings. At this point, only the need to know portions of the story of the upcoming God of War have been revealed. Kratos must set out on a journey with his son Atreus to take his mother's ashes to the highest peak in the Nordic realm. From what can be seen from the trailers so far, Atreus looks to develop some illness from being a god and harbor some resentment for his father and not understanding what he truly is. Considering that Kratos seems to be absent for a good portion of Atreus' life, seeing as Kratos did not know the boy could hunt and was surprised to find out that he could hunt, I would be surprised if he didn't harbor some resentment for his father. We'll see how much he changes as Kratos trains and mentors him over the course of their journey. What we do know is that Atreus has the blood of a god running through him, which could lead to some interesting twists and turns in the story and in the gameplay. We've already seen that Atreus will follow us around and help us in combat and also help us with puzzles, but I'm curious to see the story dynamic between father and son. All that being said, the trailers displayed a boy that only wanted to please his father and earn his respect, but also dealing with the new things he doesn't understand. Kratos, on the other hand, seems to still be dealing with his sins in another life, carefully trying to shield his son from what he once was. It's great that there will be a focus on Atreus in the story. We've seen how much Kratos cares for his family in the last game. We'll have to see if that same emotion is brought into this story and with his new child. Kratos is a legend. Even in the trailers, it can be seen that the tales of the man that killed the god spread to the Nordic realm. But how did he actually get there? How long has he been there? Why are none of the Norse gods pissing their pants that the man that wiped out the Greek pantheon is roaming around their neighborhood? I don't know, but I'm sure all that will be answered in the game, or at least touched on. What I'm curious about is the story and the character. How is the former God of War going to deal with his past, and how will his past affect his relationship with his son? If you don't know what past I'm talking about, or you just need a little refresher, here's a brief history on the Ghost of Sparta. Kratos was forced to kill his mother Callisto because of a curse Zeus put on her. The curse being that if she ever told Kratos or anyone else who his father was, she would turn into a monster that would attack anyone around her. He was unable to help his brother Deimos as Ares and Athena kidnapped him as children. This is something that affected him so deeply he tattooed his little brother's birthmark on himself, which is how he got the giant red markings on his body. He was unable to help Deimos once again as the god of death Thanatos kills him, and worst of all, he was tricked by Ares into murdering his own wife and child, and after his crime, he was forced to wear the ashes of his family on his skin for the rest of his life, so all may know the crime he committed, hence the name, the Ghost of Sparta. His father Zeus plotting most of these things since he was a boy. These are just some of the things that has happened to Kratos over his life that has formed the person that he is today. As you can see, most of these things were either directly caused by a god or happened because of a god's planning or betrayal of Kratos. So if you were ever wondering why is it that by the time God of War 3 rolled around, Kratos just looked like a giant ball of angry and how he was just so ready to kill everyone and everything that tried to betray him, this is why. Kratos has been through more physical and mental pain and anguish than any person should go through. I hope to see this have an effect on his relationship with his son, and the reason for that is because of the way he cared for his wife and daughter. The way he hurt when reliving what he did to them, the fact that it destroyed him so much on the inside that he was ready to kill himself in the first game, just makes the father-son dynamic in this upcoming game that more interesting to me. How can a man that's seen so much blood and violence in his life and has gone through so much possibly raise a child? How can he keep him safe and keep him protected without falling back into his old ways of nothing but blood and destruction? That's something I'm very interested to see, because in God of War 3, when given the opportunity to either save Pandora or fulfill his lust for vengeance and go fight Zeus, he chose to fight Zeus. Personally, I'm very excited to see the way that he deals with these memories and the experiences that he went through in his past. In one of the recent trailers, there's a scene where the bandages on Kratos' arm begin to fall off. He looks down at them, possibly considering his past, before once again covering his arm. Callbacks like this will boost the story of this game to new levels. The trauma that Kratos experienced cannot simply be forgotten. No matter how much time has passed, it's something that drove him for almost his entire life. And like the bandages on his arms, even if wrapped up and attempted to be forgotten, it will always walk with him, always in sight, no matter how much he tries to put it out of his mind. It's true that God of War has taken some hints from The Last of Us with a tonal shift in the game. Revenge and settling score seems to be gone from the platter, and there's a deeper focus on family and fatherhood. Parallels can understandably be drawn between Kratos and his son, and Joel and Ellie. These similarities are heightened when it's taken into consideration that Atreus plays a similar role gameplay-wise, helping the player character through puzzles and combat. While the game is not yet released, we can see that there are also major differences between the two titles, one being that God of War does not place a huge emphasis on stealth like The Last of Us, and another being that it seems this God of War still has the in-your-face action of the previous entries, maybe not to the same hack-and-slash gameplay style, but it's definitely still very violent and in-your-face. As for the story, there's absolutely nothing wrong with a greater emphasis on Kratos once again being a father. A story should, for the most part, be the driver of the car, dictating where the car goes and why. The action and gameplay for the car should be capable enough to get the story where it needs to go without taking all the attention away from the driver. While the previous God of War games were more focused on the action and the hack and slash gameplay, the story somewhat took a back seat at times. This God of War shifts things around so that the story is on equal footing with the action, so one does not overtake the other. This shift lets us, the players and fans, see what we always want to see, Kratos being the great character he has always been and also redeeming himself. God of War is a storied franchise that has decided to shake things up to breathe new life into the series. These changes are sure to bring forth a new and fresh experience. Hopefully there is enough of the original gameplay that caused so many fans to fall in love with the series in the first place. Seeing Kratos as a father guiding his son is something that we always wanted to see with his original family. A gentler role where he has someone to fight for and protect instead of fighting for vengeance. All that being said, we won't truly know how the game plays or how the story will turn out until we play it. But considering that this is the same creative director that brought us God of War 2, someone that really knows the series and has the best intentions for the franchise in mind, I don't think we'll be disappointed. The change in combat style is still a little scary for me. Hack and slash was a staple of the God of War franchise. Chaining combos together and juggling enemies was some of the most fun I've ever had. So I completely understand how some people feel being wary about the combat change, and I completely understand how people feel when they say it's a Last of Us clone with the God of War skin. While I'm excited to see where the story goes and how it will further develop Kratos as a character, I was perfectly happy with Kratos being dead. His story was over, and with the amount of lives he took, the story could only end one way, and that was with his death. Part of me feels like bringing him back was a bit of a disrespectful move. Not all stories need to go on forever, and not all stories need happy endings. Kratos forgiving himself for killing his family at the end of God of War 3, and then killing himself to release hope to the entire world was perfect. That being said, I'm still excited, and I'm happy to see Kratos again. It looks like they'll do him justice. That's it for me though. I'd love to hear your opinions and how you feel about the upcoming God of War game and anything else that deals with the God of War franchise. Do you miss the old hack and slash games? Do you think that the dynamic between Atreus and Kratos will be well done? Please let me know in the comments below. And please leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more content. Till next time, I'm out.